Hello guys, I'm here with the latest notification coming from the Elevate Wings1 community. In this video, I will share some important points regarding August assessments, as well as we will see the path to become digital or innovator cadre associate. So let's start this video. So here are the important points that you should note for the upcoming August cycle. The registration cutoff date is 7th August and the learning cutoff date is 30th of July. Now, during registration, you might have a doubt that you haven't got the results for May cycle. You don't need to worry about that. If you get the distinction in any of the tracks that you already appeared for, you need not to take that assessment even if you registered for the assessment. Okay, so we don't need to worry about the May cycle assessment. Just fill the registration survey, and before the August assessment, if you find that if you already have a distinction in any of the track, so you need not to give assessment for that track. Now mock assessments will start tentatively from second or third week of July. They have shared uh, week these important points that tentatively mock assessments date is tentatively from second or third week of July. Now, uh, the assessment platform for August will be Ion and Metal. Non-tech tracks like Bridge Skills, Process, Articulation will be on Ion, and you will have the course IDs, and you will launch the assessments from iEvolve course IDs. Tech tracks will be on Metal. You will get the Metal link from offering notice board of that particular track. And the third point, guys, mock assessments, which are the tentative date is from second or third week of August. Okay, this is not July. This is by mistake I write it down. So just uh, clear with it. The tentative date for mock assessments is second or third week of August. The August assessment will be in person, and it will held on third week of August. Okay, from your debut location. Now, the TCS ID card is mandatory if you want to give the in-person assessment at the debut location. And if you already have TCS laptop, then it is well and good. And if you don't have any system or TCS laptop, then they will arrange you accordingly. And after that, there will be two communities: Elevate Wings1 community, and in this community, Elevate Wings1 community, you are already enrolled, and Elevate Wings1 proctored assessment August 22 ITIS and ITIS community. In this community, you will be auto enrolled when you register yourself for the tracks for the upcoming August assessment. Now let's move to next slide. Now the August assessments, the associates who are eligible for August assessments are up to C1 grade. So associates with Y, YG, YD, C1Y or C1 grade are eligible for August assessment, and they have shared this news that this proctored assessment uh, will be thrice in a year, and they will take the assessment in May, August, and November. And for taking the assessment, your work performance uh, band should be A or B, and if you are a fresher and you are completing 1 year in TCS, then you have the rating. Then in order to give the August assessment, you should have the rating 4 or 5. and for freshers who have not completed 1 year in TCS, only learning performance will be considered. Okay, and for giving the August assessment, there are three paths, which is learning path, direct path, and self-declaration of competencies. Now, multi-fold forwards. Now, what will this Wings1 program give you? It will give you superior brand identity. It will give you financial rewards, as well as it will give you career progression. Now, the aim is continuous deployment of high value added roles with higher responsibilities as per associate aspiration and business need. Now, the learning completion. Learning completion is the eligibility for appearing in the proctored assessment. What is the definition of learning completion? There are three paths that you can follow in order to be eligible for August assessment. First is complete the learning path in iEvolve. You have the course ID 15205 for the IT associates and 15206 for the ITIS associates. Just complete the learning path, then you will be eligible for the August assessment. And if you are very confident, then yeah, then you don't need to go for learning path. You just give the prerequisite assessments for that learning paths, and you will be eligible for August assessment. So this is the direct path. If you are going for direct path, then you have to give the curriculum level assessments for some tracks, and if you pass that curriculum level assessment, then you will be eligible for that tracks for the August assessment. And the last path is self-declaring the competencies related to track in iEvolve. Suppose you are very sure about the subject or about the track that you are going to give the assessment in August, then you don't need to give the curriculum level assessment or learning. You don't need to follow the learning path. You just have to self-declare the competencies in the iEvolve, and after declaring the competencies, you will be eligible to give the August assessment. So these are the three paths: learning path, direct path, and self-declaring competencies path that I have discussed in previous slide. Now, what is the combination that you should choose in order to become the digital cadre associate if you are a ninja associate? So there can be two combinations. So the first should be either TSLP tech track or DCA tech track. Now suppose if you are going with TSLP tech track as a first track, then your second tracks can be a TSLP tech track with pass or distinction, or a one core non-tech distinction. Non-core tech distinction contains process, art of articulation, business skill. So if you are going with first track as a TSLP tech track, and for second track if you want to go with core non-tech track, then you have to get the distinction, and these are the core non-tech tracks, which are process, art of articulation, and business skills. And and if you are going with unit elective as a second track, then you should have the distinction in that. And after that, if you are going with DCA track as the second track, then you should have the distinction in it. Suppose you are going with DCA tech track as a first track. Now for second track you have these options: either you get distinction or pass in TSLP tech track, or if you are going with non-tech track as a second track, then you should have the distinction either in process, art of articulation, or business skills. And if you are going with second track as a unit elective, then you should have the distinction in it. Now this is the same diagram that I had discussed in a previous slide. So if you are going with TCLP tech distinction, then your second track will be TSLP tech distinction or pass, or non-track with distinction, or a unit elective distinction. Suppose if you are getting distinction in unit elective, then there is an exception. Then in this scenario, your TSLP tech track can be passed. Okay, with TSLP tech distinction, you should also have one DCA tech distinction in order to become digital cadre associate. So these are, we can put or condition between these. Okay, now if you're going with DCA tech distinction, then these are the things that we had discussed in a previous slide. Now for innovator cadre associate. For innovator cadre associate, these things you should already have. For innovator coding challenge, you should have distinction in articulation, you should have distinction in business skills, and you should also have distinction in process. And apart from that, you should also have distinction in either TSLP tech track, in DCA tech track, or in unit tech elective tech track. And for the innovator coding challenge, the prerequisite is the TSLP tech track. Means you have to choose the TSLP tech track in which you want to give the innovator coding challenge, and you have to pass the innovator coding challenge with distinction in order to become the innovator cadre associate in TCS. So thank you. Please like my video and subscribe to my channel for such more updates related to Transformed Elevate Wings1 community and other things related to TCS. Thank you.